Good morning and welcome to Behind the Screen. I am JM, and this is a show where we hang out and we talk about games, board games, card games, role-playing games, primarily role-playing games, miniature games. I been posting pictures. I got my next set of Conquest minis ready to paint. But today we're going to wrap up a series that we started in December about superhero gaming. And first of all, good morning to Grom and John. Yes, Grom, it is always a good day when you got to see John Doom. At least on the screen, which is why Saturday mornings are so great for me, because I get to play the Han Cluster playtest with John Doom on Friday nights. So we're looking at a trio of superhero settings to snag, use, possibly even implement in your own superhero gaming. Because one of the nice things about superhero games, as we talked about, is one, very familiar. You've got the fact that you're typically playing in a modern, today version of the world that just happens to have superheroes, aliens, mutants, and Atlantis. But it can also be a little overwhelming to create your own version of New York or Metropolis or Chicago or Dallas or Colorado Springs or LA. And so I figured I would show a trio of gaming supplements that I like to use when I am running superhero games, and kind of let you guys know what their strengths and weaknesses are and which ones I would recommend. In fact, I put all of them in my show links. So if you are at all interested, you can go follow the links on the YouTube channel to the show notes. That will take you directly to the PDF versions of all of these on drive-thru. But let's start by talking about Sentry Station. So Sentry Station is, let me move my coffee so I don't make a mess. Sentry Station is the first of a series of books for Heroes Unlimited. And Sentry Station, as well as its companion books, the most notable one being Gramercy Island, is the work of Bill Coffin, and it's designed to give you everything you need to run a superhero game. You take a look here. It's got 51 villains, 40 heroes, a bunch of NPCs, and then the city of Sentry Station. Now, one of the strengths of Sentry Station is, where is it in the world? Doesn't matter. As long as you have a coast, Sentry Station works. And it's designed to be dropped in to the world. Gramercy Island is the companion book that you can get for this that is a super prison. It's basically The Raft or Belle Reve, if you're familiar with Marvel and DC respectively. And it comes with a ton of villains to use, but also it comes with essentially several mini essays on how to handle superhero incarceration. Now, despite the cover and despite the tone of Heroes Unlimited, Sentry Station feels more like Gotham City than it does Metropolis. Feels far more like Hell's Kitchen than it does the rest of New York. And here's why. The premise behind Sentry Station is that Sentry Station was the most technologically advanced city in the country. And it was that way because of a massive fusion power plant that was brought online there. It brought in new scientists and new technologies, and at the height of Sentry Station, there's this almost golden age, not quite Rift's golden age, but a golden age of cybernetics and robotics. It's the cheapest place to find them. There were a lot of mutants and experiments going on in the city, and it was the home to a uncharacteristic number of superheroes in one place. But the twist is the person in charge of the fusion plant was actually an alien and violated a ton of First Contact and Prime Directive-like rules, and space cops show up. And they say, cool, not only are we taking this guy into custody, but we're confiscating all of the alien tech and all the stuff based off alien tech. And so now Sentry Station, after that, is well, kind of a wreck. There were several terrorist incidents. The general wealth and technology level has crashed. The mayor is attempting to bring the city back from the brink of disaster, and he's doing this by authorizing a lot of officially sanctioned superheroes. So this is a setting where your vigilante can be a vigilante and still not worry about the police going, well, what about due process? What about evidence? That sort of thing. It is a very detailed setting. Again, 90 characters, a bunch of NPCs, all of the different regions of the area, as well as, let me see if I can find a good map, page 39. Like most here, here's the small map of Sentry Station, and then you get all of these different breakout maps. Like most Palladium books, it is very, very dense. Thanks, John Doom. That's almost as good as the. There's a couple of Star Wars jokes that are there as well. Good to have you on the stream as always. Distracting me as usual, but you can have a Benny for Friday. Very dense. So lots of great art, but also you're going to get a lot of information out of this. And right now the PDF, I don't know what the PDF is, but the book runs for $20.95. It's a great deal. Then we have the Capital City Gazetteer. And as you can see, this is not a large book at all. In fact, it is the GM insert in the GM screen. And Capital City's full color, and it really is just some small statistics, maps, and an overview. And Capital City is actually located, Ascendant has a very, superheroes have just uncovered themselves or revealed themselves now. And so here we go. So it's very much grounded in the real world. This is set in Delaware Bay, and it feels like a real city that is starting to awaken to the idea of ascendance. So it feels far more like a Metropolis in DC or a New York in Marvel, because it is a little bit bright and shinier while still remaining grounded in the real world. And one of the things I love about Ascendant is actually putting out case files. So they've got 2 case files out right now. Capital City case files, this is High Summer, and then Best Served Cold. And these are print on demand. About 24 pages. You get an adventure, a setup, you get all of the character indexes that you need, as well as handouts. And one of the things that, if you've looked at the Ascendant book, they have these online blogs throughout the core book and Rogues Gallery and the adventures, so that you can take the PDF and send it to your players, put it in to Foundry or whatever VTT, and show it off to your players. Now, both of these adventures are a little bit more grounded. There are meta villains, but they are also involved with some drug cartels. So you kind of get a blending of 4-color and gritty realism in these. And you know what? They were a great price. They were $15 each, I believe, for a 32-page adventure. Check them out. I put the links in the show notes. So the last one is this was and remains my gold standard of dark, gritty Marvel Knights-esque superhero settings. This is Hudson City, the Urban Abyss. Now, this is a supplement that's no longer physically in print, but was a supplement for Dark Champions. And Dark Champions was really designed to allow you to play kind of the Marvel Knights version of characters, or the Bat family, like non-Justice League Batman. And Hudson City is the wretched, festering city that is the kind of the analog to Gotham. And this book This book is chocked full of more information than I can count. We have tons of maps. It's almost 300 pages. There's a Street Finder index in the back. There are a ton of villains and gangs kind of scattered throughout. Now, this does use the rules for Hero 4th edition, which means that the mechanical stats may not be as useful to you, but Stephen Long, his ability to write and put an adventure together in a campaign setting and a source book is second to none in the industry. Now, if you follow the link, the PDF is still available on drive-thru, and you can get a gorgeous, high-quality version of the map for $5 on drive-thru RPG. So this is the city if you want to play a very dark, like, Batman game. All right, we have low powers. We are searching for some superpowered villains, mostly sociopaths, serial killers, and novelty gangs. This is the darkest of the settings. It would work really well with the Necessary Evil rules, obviously Ascendant or Heroes Unlimited. You would just need to use the stats as a guideline for your conversions. But again, you can get the PDF and the map, I think, for a total of $20. And the map is amazing. If it's anything like the map that Stephen Long sent me back in the day, it's all hyperlinked and drilled down and very, very useful because he wanted something that he was going to use in the game. Now, if you like the idea of kind of a dark, festering city, but your players don't necessarily want to deal with the darkness, there is a supplement for Dark Champions called Dark Champions, the Animated Series, which, if you remember Batman the Animated Series, it's the difference between like comic book or movie Gotham and Gotham in the animated series. If you want something that's got a little bit more support for the GM in the fact of adventures, or you want something a little bit more grounded in the real world or bright and shiny, I highly recommend Capital City. Again, you got to get the GM screen. It comes with the Ascendant GM screen, which you can get from Autark's website, which I put in the show notes. You're not getting a whole lot of information. Again, this is an 11-page gazetteer. This is the one that says, hey, here are the borders of the image. You fill them in and color in everything you need. But it gives you just enough to make it feel like a real city and then allow you to use the rules of Ascendant, which, again, Macrease is a simulationist at heart. So the rules of Ascendant are really going to support you digging down into the city and making it your own. If you're playing Heroes Unlimited or want to play in a setting that is on the edge of between Gotham and Metropolis, if you will, I highly recommend Sentry Station and, again, Mutant Underground, Gramercy Island. When I run Heroes Unlimited, I'm probably going to use Sentry Station, but my idea for it is I think I'm going to set it start the game before the events of the Space Cops showing up. I'm going to start and show the heroes what it was like in its golden age. And then at some point, we'll do a time jump and use news articles and blog posts to kind of show off what happened and what changed, and then say, all right, heroes, can you prevent the city from sliding deeper into darkness? Or are you going to help restore it to its golden age? So hopefully, those 3 little mini reviews are helpful. I love superhero gaming. I have gamed in 2 of these 3 settings. I've used Sentry Station and Gramercy Island before. I've used Hudson City for multiple games. And Capital City's on my list. So, hopefully, that was helpful and informative, and I hope you guys are considering running a superhero game. Maybe we'll come back to superhero gaming later in the year. I really would love to be starting up my superhero game sometime this year, but we'll just have to wait and see. Thursday, we're going to be back, and we're going to be back with a look at Castles and Crusades Reforged. They were kind enough at Troll Lord Games to send me copies of their new versions of Castles and Crusades, which is basically identical to the old version of Castles and Crusades, save for three important differences. The layout got minor updates in the player's handbook and the DMG, but a massive update in the monster manual. The new monster manual looks gorgeous. They incorporated errata and made another editing pass and updated some art in the books. But the main reason they did this, and the main reason this is reforged and not the newest edition, is because they removed the OGL, which, as we all know, there was a big OGL debacle. And what's interesting to me about Trollord Games is they were one of, if not the first gaming company to use the OGL to put out not just more 3.0 material, but to put out something unique with it. And I'm hoping to have Steve Chenault on Beyond the Table so we can talk about the OGL and why Castles and Crusades did what they did and what their thoughts are for the future on it. But I wanted to do a quick review of it because, again, they were nice enough to send me a copy, and I'm always nice enough to turn that into a review. So that's it. I hope you all have a wonderful middle of the week. I will see you all on Thursday. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. I'm JM. This has been Behind the Screen, and I will see you all on Thursday. Until then, have a good one, everybody.